Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to episode 84 of the Stateside Report UK. I'm your host, Stateside Gab, in the building. Over there, Mr. OKC, Mr. Arsenal. It's not as funny when they're doing all right. It's not as funny when I go, Mr. Arsenal. It's not that today, lads. Stateside, how you doing, matey?
Hashtag let me dream. Let me dream.
Hashtag let it all work out.
Arsenal, please don't make a fool out of me, bruv. Don't make a fool out of me.
Results could have gone better on today of recording. It's a Monday, just in case you didn't know. Could have been better, but it's life.
It's life. Games. There's 3 games left. Business end of the season. Saying both in the NBA and football. But yeah, but let's pod episode 84.
Yeah, episode 84. How you been though? You been enjoying these playoffs? Round 1 in the books.
Best round 1 of all time. And I actually want to obviously get into it, talk about how I feel like the league is at the best place it could possibly be in terms of like talent. And you're seeing it in like these long series going to game 7s and like how teams are coming back from 3-1 downs and all of that stuff. You know what I mean? Like the game is at the best players. The brand of basketball is very, very good as well. Do you know what I mean? The best players are playing in it. So you can't complain. You couldn't have written round 1 any better.
Fair enough, you started us off in a heater. Oh, he's like you're off like 5 for 5 right now already. Right. Game's just started, matey.
Damn.
It's been good, to be fair. It's been very good. It's been very good. We'll recap. How about this? We'll recap, the series in round 1 in the West, because we're going to start West like we always do. And then we'll look ahead to the second round, the teams that are so lucky to be in it. How about we start with hold on, let me get my playoff standings over here. How about we start with the Spurs beating the Trailblazers. That was been done already. The Timberwolves Nuggets, we talked about that already as well. Legacy, I don't want to say defining, but maybe a blip, bump in the road for Nikola Jokic, especially Jamal Murray, that gang over there. I think changes are going to be made in Denver. Really quickly on that one, I know we touched on it a little bit last week, but it's not a heads are going to roll kind of thing, but I do expect some changes moving forwards now because, best player in the world getting knocked out the first round, can't be having that, surely.
I mean, I spoke of it on like socials and stuff, saying like that formula in Denver, it just doesn't work. Do you know what I mean? They need more defenders. They need more point of attack, like athletes that can turn defense into attack. Do you know what I mean? That can go out and transition. That can help cover a lot of Jokic's deficiency on defense. You know what I mean? There's too much of a finesse team over there in Denver, and finesse don't win you titles. It don't win you series in today's NBA. You see Detroit, OKC, San Antonio, common denominator. Athletes, defense, young spring chickens that can fly up and down the court. That's not Denver.
It's not Denver at all. Their roster is, as it stands right now, not quite there to compete. Even against the broken Timberwolves. Surprising as it is.
Timberwolves, though.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to talk about them in the next round. Newsflash, I'm a bit nervous for them, but we'll talk about it.
Did you hear about Ant?
One more time.
Did you hear about Anthony Edwards?
He's looking like he's coming back, right?
He's back for tonight.
There we go.
If it's like pre-game workout.
Yeah. Everything going well. Well, we'll see how that goes. And we'll talk about it very shortly as well. The Lakers, at the last time we recorded, it wasn't quite done. The Rockets gave them a little scare. I saw some stats around teams being up 3-0, never being able to blow a lead. They almost looked like they was going to blow it in stages, but the Lakers went ahead and got it done. And as we said, I don't want to say predicted, but I gave you the scenario that the Houston Rockets will probably lose the series, and they did. I think this one is a case of heads. It's going to roll a little bit in Houston, just because you think of the expectations there. You think of Kevin Durant there. Ime, there was a lot on his plate to make it work as well. Yes, injuries was a thing. However, we'll talk about it in the East, very shortly. But if you're a team like Houston and you don't, meet expectations, I'm afraid that there's going to be some changes.
100%. I mean, I didn't enjoy their brand of basketball at all this year. Do you know what I mean? And with obviously KD and like the burner accounts and all of that stuff, Şengün, how he played as well. It just It just wasn't enjoyable.
Technical difficulties, fridges and all that, to be done. Shout out to Mumsy,
Because
we were talking about the Houston Rockets season not going to plan.
Nah, I mean, obviously they won a lot of games in the regular season, 50 plus, but you could tell that they were a heavily flawed team, and just a lot of stuff going on with KD, his lack of leadership, the stuff that you were saying about his teammates, whether he was right or wrong. Still, that's not the point. But things will have to change. Obviously, they're hoping Van Vliet comes back, Steven Adams comes back, which should hopefully raise their ceiling. But I don't love the personnel. I don't love the brand of basketball. Ime Udoka, I'll be surprised if he comes back next season. So we'll see how they change their team. Obviously, they made big swings, getting out Jalen Green, bringing in Kevin Durant. And this time around, and I'm not even going to go into too much of a thing, but Şengün, I don't know how far he can take them in the future with his brand of basketball, because he's not a great defender, but his comp that everyone's using is Jokic. But Jokic is an all-time offensive player. Do you know what I mean? And he can subside his lack of defense with that all-time playmaking. Şengün doesn't really have that. He don't have the touch. He don't have the shooting like Jokic. So how far can someone like Şengün take you if he's your number one or number two option? But that's obviously still to be waited and seen. If that's the correct English.
Yeah, indeed. I think it's too early to talk about trading the likes of him, Amen, and obviously the lack of a jump shot. I think it's too early for that kind of conversation. I mean, never say never in the NBA, because we've seen the maddest of maddest trades.
It moves very quickly
recently, exactly. But we'll see what happens with in Houston. Like I said, I think heads will roll, unfortunately, because of how their season ended and how it transpired. Just finally rounding off the first round as well, as we know. Yeah, the Thunder beat the Suns. Sure. First round,
it's like years ago.
I know, right? First round, I feel like injuries robbed us a little bit in regards to some classic series that could have been a lot better. You'd like to think that if the Houston Rockets were a little bit more healthy, would the Lakers, this is hindsight being 2020, but would the Lakers maybe beat them? Maybe.
But if Luka was healthy as well.
Yeah, exactly. If Luka's there, and
I think it would be a sweep. It would be a sweep if Luka and Austin Reeves were healthy.
If KD was there, obviously in the when the Timberwolves Nugget series, if Ant was there for the whole time, DiVincenzo didn't blow his Achilles as well. Could have been a different series, I guess, or it could have been more emphatic in regards to how the Timberwolves put aside the Denver Nuggets. But second round is here now. Do you know what I mean? We've got some tasty matchups. We'll start with this one: Spurs versus the Timberwolves. And I'll be honest, I'm a bit nervous for the Timberwolves, because even though you broke the news a little bit earlier in regards to Anthony Edwards and his health being upgraded from questionable to everything going well, he could probably start the game. I'm still a bit concerned. Him missing the last few games and the Spurs coming into this one with a little bit of momentum, obviously dealing with an easier matchup in the Portland Trailblazers. No disrespect to them, of course, good team, but an easier matchup nonetheless. Am I calling for a Spurs sweep? I don't know. I might be. No, I might be. Especially if Ant is going to miss, the majority of the series. Even though Gobert has stepped up defensively, yes. Randall has looked all right in spurts when he's asked to be the number one option. They're just too broken down, man. I'm what's his name? Shannon Brown? Not Shannon Brown. He used to be
Terrence Shannon Brown.
Yeah. Am I expecting him to, for him to carry on the performances that he did at the back end of the Nugget series? Am I trusting Julius Randle in number one as the number one option to take me home? I've seen that, song and dance before, and it's ended poorly. So I just don't know. If Ant is actually fit, then obviously different series. But I'm caveating my thing with, if he's not, I could be calling for a Spurs sweep. I'll be real.
I have this, if Ant plays, I have this going in Spurs in 6. I think the Timberwolves, their brand of basketball is physical, aggressive style of play. Do you know what I mean? I feel like in order to really shake San Antonio, to challenge them, you have to be physical. From the perimeter, from obviously Wemby's going to be facing this OG in Rudy. Do you know what I mean? So that should be an interesting matchup as well. You know what I mean? I want to see how Wemby fares with that matchup. Obviously, we saw how Jokic struggled with Wemby playing single coverage. So we'll see how obviously Rudy plays Wemby. Randall as well, big, strong, physical forward. Who do they have in San Antonio that can really guard that? Obviously, he can be turnover prone as well, but I believe that Randall should be a walking mismatch for whoever San Antonio can throw at him. Anthony Edwards, if and when he does come back, whether he'll be the same, and that's obviously a completely different topic, but his gravity of just him being on the floor alone should help the Timberwolves, should help the shooters that come off the bench, that that play. They will need great offensive production off of Jaden McDaniels. Do you know what I mean? This might be the turn in his career where he actually leans more into his offense. You know what I mean? Obviously, with DiVincenzo going to be out most likely for the whole of next season, you want to see if, because he's got the tools there. You see it in flashes, his turnaround fadeaway, those jump shots, automatic. I seen there's a picture of him and Kawhi in the offseason one time. So I want to see how his career blossoms in terms of his offensive game. We saw that with Dylan Brooks this year. Do you know what I mean? So I'm definitely going to keep a close eye on McDaniels and how he approaches the series offensively, because they'll need his production.
You know, the age-old saying, they got KD, but we got Jaden McDaniels.
Bro, that phrase aged like wine.
Yeah, it did.
It aged like wine.
It did.
A lot of people were laughing.
I didn't think he had the offensive jump or potential of an offensive jump in him, because defensively, yeah, we know what he can do, all defense type caliber player. But on the offensive end, yeah, he showed me some things over the course of the year. Yeah, I like it. Slow burner. How do you feel like the young guards, especially, come for the Spurs, are going to fare coming into this? Because, like I said, they fared well against, a Portland Trailblazers team who have good defenders in their own right. Now, don't get it twisted. Drew Holiday's no slouch, and he's in, some trade talks to be traded next season. Donovan Clingan is a solid big man down there. Younger, but, defensive presence is there. 7'2" guy. You don't just, work around him very easily.
Time Lord as well.
Time Lord as well. But this is the Stifle Tower now. This is Rudy Gobert. This is the top of the pops in regards to paint protection alongside Wemby as well. Do you fear, or do you have any concerns in regards to, at least the paint being taken away a little bit in regards to the Spurs young guys? Because that was a big, point of emphasis for them in regards to actually getting their buckets in the last series and over the season as well.
I mean, just like how the Timberwolves are going to be forced into shooting a lot of jump shots. Same thing with San Antonio. You're going to see Dylan Harper, Fox, Castle be forced to take those mid-range jump shots. How efficient are they going to be in that? We'll wait to see that. But having really last line of defense, he changed a lot of shots. He alters a lot of shots. But then obviously San Antonio, those guards train and practice with Wemby, so obviously they'll be accustomed to that type of coverage defensively. Do you know what I mean? If anything, Wemby obviously is at that little bit of a higher level. But Minnesota, they hang their hat on defense. Do you know what I mean? So we'll see how those young guards can fare when they're being rushed, when, like I said, they're forced to take mid-range shots, when really and truly their strength is finishing at the rim and attacking the paint. But if you're attacking the paint, you've got Rudy there. Now, Rudy obviously come in as well. But it'll be an interesting matchup to see how that dynamic works.
Yeah, I think it is. I'm very interested to see how the coaches, especially actually, deal with this. Just because we're giving a lot of praise to Mitch Johnson in regards to, look, it's been a hell of a season, regular season, and the playoff debut for him as a head coach. Yeah, it's been all right, But as I said, favourable matchup in regards to what the Trailblazers were supposed to be. Or were, because 4-1, fair play, they did their jobs. Now he's playing a playoff tested, battle tested, Timberwolves side. Even though, like I said, I'm potentially saying that the Spurs could sweep it just based on health alone, especially if Ant is not around and they don't have a lot of scoring punch. It's still going to be up to Mitch Johnson to devise game plans to make sure that, especially defensively, they can get what they need, because the paint is already going to be, I don't say off limits, but for lack of better words, let's just say that. They're going to have to scheme, like you said, in around getting a lot of mid-ranges up, getting a lot of, frees up, smart ones as well, because the Timberwolves still have, length to stifle the Spurs and their shooters. So I'm keeping tabs in regards to the coaching aspects of this series, because potentially that could be what decides it, because talent-wise, everybody healthy, that's a tough call. That's a tough call. Everybody healthy, by the way. If how would you see the series going if you could put everybody on the court and everybody was 100%?
I would have given Minnesota more of a chance. I probably would have leaned Minnesota in 7 because I hate San Antonio, but I would have leaned more to Minnesota in 7, especially if Ant is fit and healthy. I think he dropped like 50 plus points in the regular season in that same matchup. Like I said, defense. There's athletes on that team, but I want to see how Wemby takes advantage of the fact that Rudy can't guard. Not that he can't guard in space, but like they're gonna leave him. You know what I mean? They're gonna leave him, and he's gonna cheat off of Rudy, and try and like kind of roam a little bit more because, bro, every time you put the ball in Rudy's hands, damn near an automatic turnover. So
that's another thing as well. Just before we move on to the other Western Conference semi-final in regards to Rudy, especially if Ant has to miss a lot of time, then his touches and his shots have to get passed around, which means you're going to be asking for a healthy dosage of Rudy Gobert. However it looks, he might have to average a cheeky 15, 18. I don't know. And I know I might ask you for too much in that regard, in regards to Rudy giving me something that's not blocking shots and actually putting the ball in the basket.
Rudy he'll get his points wherever he gets them. You know what I mean? They're not going to set plays for him. He's going to get tip-in lobs. Run out layups if he actually runs the floor well, which I think he will. But he'll get his points where he can. But they're not going to try and pencil in 15 points a game in the series for Rudy. Is just too much. He don't have the offensive skill to get that.
Fair enough. I've seen him in the past complain about not getting enough touches, and especially if Ant is not there.
Mike Conley, Bones Highland. Obviously, they're going to play a lot of minutes this series.
Yeah, for sure. Mike Conley's experience would be invaluable as well in these kind of situations, just because he's made playoff runs, Grizzlies, Utah as well.
Food on defense.
He's mid-30s, mate. You know what I mean? What do you want? I didn't say
kids are gonna be running the whole series, bro. Give and take, man.
Let's go to the series that I would say I don't want to waste my breath on it because it's OKC. Mr. OKC is sitting right there, and it's the Lakers. But
Lakers,
as I said, we'll go to the East, in a little bit. But I don't want to be too dismissive because it's the playoffs, man. It's the second round. If you're in the second round, you must be a decent enough team, And the next game that we're going to play in the next junction is going to, exemplify that. But talk to me about how you're feeling for this series. I understand, it's a 40-year-old over there. Luka's still not back. Austin Reeves has just come back. So they're in a little bit of, bits and pieces, for lack of better words. But still, talk to me about how you're feeling in regards to the challenge that the Lakers might have for you. Are you concerned? Are you confident? Tell me how you're feeling.
I mean, obviously the Lakers just came out of a series where they were heavy underdogs. You know what I mean? With Luka and Austin Reeves out to start the Rockets series, they gave LeBron no chance. Do you know what I mean? But how dare you doubt the king? You know what I mean? That's exactly what I'm going to do this time. That's exactly what I'm going to do this time around. Do you know what I mean? I think facing that Houston Rockets team as an underdog is completely different to facing OKC as an underdog. Do you know what I mean? OKC with or without J-Dub as well. Like I'm saying, the floor of this OKC team and the level that we can reach is higher than any team in the league. Do you know what I mean? We're a basketball team that forces the opposition to play perfect basketball for 48 minutes every single time. And the Lakers, I think they average 18 turnovers against the Rockets. And if you're averaging 18 turnovers against the Rockets, anywhere close to that against OKC, you're dead at arrival. Do you know what I mean? That's just the series done there and then. You know what I mean? And obviously, realistically, I think we can take it up to 20. We can have the Lakers average 20 turnovers this series, and once they're giving us free possessions, that's the game done there and then. Obviously, there's the problem with Shea as well, who's going to guard him. You've got Marcus Smart, but JJ Redick is going to sell out to guard him with two players to try and get the ball off his hands, blitzes, double teams, triple teams, box and one zones. I saw the Phoenix Suns do that. And Shea averaged 33 points and 8 assists with like 2 turnovers. He's scheme proof. He don't see no coverage that he don't like. Do you know what I mean? Everywhere on the floor for him is a sweet spot. You know what I mean? Some people get into flow state. He lives there. You know what I mean? That's just
looking at Instagram too much. That's what you've been doing. It's kind of a bottle.
That's just who he is. Do you know what I mean? It's just he's at a level in his game where there's no weakness. Do you know what I mean? He was an MVP last season, and he's gotten better in terms of reading the floor, in terms of taking advantage of matchups. I remember when Curry got that MVP in 2016. All of a sudden, how aggressive teams are guarding. You're seeing it now. He's 36, 37, and they're guarding him like it was his MVP season. They're just certain players. Once they get to a certain level, you have to overreact to everything, and I think that's what JJ Redick and the Lakers are gonna do. But I just don't think will be enough, unfortunately. You also have the problem of the double bigs as well. Ayton will have problems with that, and like I said, we forced teams to play perfect basketball. That's why I think the Pacers took us to 7, because and credit to Rick Carlisle, they played perfect basketball. They played the right way. They rarely made mistakes. They got back on defense every single time. That's why they took us to 7. But with this Lakers, I think they're very indisciplined. LeBron, like you mentioned, 41 years old. He's going to give up some games just because he needs to get get some fuel back. At that point, I think it'll be too late.
Fair enough. You've put on the table a lot of reasons why the Lakers cannot, and you're saying as well the fact that I know you said that JJ Redick likes to send a lot of blitzes, and you saw how they were dealing with Kevin Durant when he was available. Right. To play for the Rockets. Can I present, be devil's advocate a little bit in regards to, it's a little bit different, the Lakers throwing a blitz at you and the Phoenix Suns throwing a blitz at you, just because, it's LeBron James that's quarterbacking the defense a little bit, just because we were talking about the defensive, I guess, rise in a way towards the end of the season for the Lakers, and LeBron playing an excellent role in regards to, telling people where to rotate and, even in his own right, picking his spots when it's time to turn up the gas. Obviously, the Phoenix Suns don't have somebody of that experience, and even somebody as athletic as LeBron, even at his advanced age. So that doesn't scare you in any sort of way in regards to, they're going to be blitzing shade, they're going to be doing what it takes to get the ball, and LeBron's going to be making sure everybody's in the right spot every single time.
I hear what you're saying, but Phoenix were top 10 in defense throughout the season. I think we averaged close to 125 or 128 points per game in that series. Do you know what I mean? Phoenix were top 10 in defense. They had, obviously, Dylan Brooks anchoring that. Also, Godoro. They had talent on defense over there. I just don't know if the Lakers can... And the Lakers might do what you're saying, but can they do it over a course of 48 minutes over and over and over and over? I don't think so. I'll believe it when I see it. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, I don't want to fully write off the Lakers or just any team because, bro, in sports, you can't write it. Do you know what I mean? But I'm just saying, for a team to strain OKC, for a team to take games off of us, and as far as go to win the series, you have to play perfect basketball for 48 minutes every single time. I just don't see the Lakers doing that, especially with the personnel that they have. Austin Reeves, he's going to get more of the ball in his hands. He averaged 15 in the amount of games he played in the regular season. Averaged 15 points, 5 assists, and 7 turnovers. He averaged more turnovers than assists against this OKC defense. Bearing in mind, he's now going to be the number 1 ball handler. Yeah. God bless him.
It's not going to cut the mustard still, I can't lie. And just finally on this one as well, I understand that Luka is probably not going to be available, at least in the front end of this.
Is there going to be a back end?
If there is, does that sway the tide for you a little bit?
I mean, again, Luka's someone that averaged 15 points against OKC, and the 2 games Luka played, they were down 30 at halftime. So, and he's coming from 32. I don't bro. I don't know how to say it where I'm not dismissing the other team, bro. I'm trying to be partial.
Do you know what? How about this? How about we do this? Because I've got the perfect little exercise in regards to take your impartiality and put it somewhere. Because you have to be, down the middle.
It's difficult.
People
call me a cocky little bastard for being an OKC fan, bro. They don't understand. They don't understand. It's hard. It's hard to be. Anyway, carry on.
Stateside of Humph. Shall we play a game?
Let's play a game. Let's do it.
Like, share, comment, rate, subscribe, by the way, if you like what you're listening, First round, we delved into it a little bit more in the last episode, so go listen to that one if you haven't. We're talking second round today. As you know, second round is starting up as of today of recording. And we're going to play a game right now. As I said, if you reach the second round of the playoffs, it's a good chance that, you're good enough to go all the way. Every team, obviously, their chances are not the same. However, we're going to make them the same for the sake of the game. Stateside Amph, new game, new one, because, I trust you with these things. This one is called Yes Because, No Because. For every single team that is in the second round of the NBA playoffs, you have to give me a yes, they can win the championship because, and a no, they can't win the championship because. It's a very simple concept, a very simple game. Can you do it for me? Can you do it for the people?
Let's do it.
And we'll start adequately with your boys, just so you can get the, the feel for the game. OKC, I'm going to ask you the question. 2 questions, of course. OKC can win the championship because
they've got the best player in the world on their team. They've got the 2-time MVP on their team. They have the best defense in modern era, defending champions. And like I said, when they take it up to the championship level, no team can hang.
The OKC Thunder cannot win the championship because
the aliens have come to Earth and taken. That's it. The aliens have come to Earth and taken us all away. and there's no more of this.
The NBA is just done.
Facts. Done for.
Fair enough. The Lakers can win the championship because
the Lakers can win the championship because by some miracle, Luka comes back 100%. LeBron somehow turns the clock back to 2018, and Austin Reeves is still getting those superstar calls that he's getting somehow. And all of a sudden, DPOY, Marcus Smart, has turned back to 2022 DPOY, and Luke Kennard can't miss threes. You know what I mean? And yeah, Rui Hachimura turned to like prime Kawhi.
Everything has to go correct.
Exactly, and there's injuries to all the everyone else. That's the only way the Lakers and end up winning the championship, where everyone is literally playing like the best version, and the competitors are all injured.
The Lakers cannot win the championship because
LeBron's 41, Luka's out of an injury, he's not coming back. The roster's inadequate. You've got Jackson Hayes and Ayton. They flatter to deceive as bigs. They can't shoot the ball too well. They're high turnover team. Recipe for disaster.
The San Antonio Spurs can win the championship because
they can carry on the winning streak that they had from the back end of the regular season into this postseason. Wemby plays at all-time level. The guards and Harper, Castle, Fox keep the aggressive scoring. The defense is ramped up to a level where you just can't score. Where Wemby's in the paint and you just can't score in that paint. Wemby's shooting threes, making layups, making dunks, and their rotation is perfect. Everyone's shooting lights out, and there's just no answer for that San Antonio team.
The San Antonio Spurs cannot win the championship because
they're very inexperienced. This is the first time they might get to the conference finals, and the lights might just get too bright for certain players like your Wemby's, Castles, Fox, who just haven't really been there. And when the prize is to get to the NBA finals, and you're looking eye to eye with a team like OKC with SGA, and you piss down your legs and your knees buckle and you lose in 5, and then I tell people I told you so.
Oh dear. The Minnesota Timberwolves can win the championship because
really plays with a chip on the shoulder, 4-time defensive player of the year. He plays at that level. Anthony Edwards comes back. They've given him the crunk juice, and he's playing at a superstar level. He's making every three. He's driving to the paint, and he's unstoppable. And their defense is at an all-time level. Do you know what I mean? They take that with them, and yeah, like I said, they don't miss. They don't miss, and yeah, for once they actually go from back-to-back conference finals and take it one step further, get to the finals and win it all.
let's go east with this game just before we head east for our preview for the second round. What is the first round? What's the first game of this thing? Oh, here we go. The 1 seed, the Detroit Pistons can win the championship because
of the all-time defense. Do you know what I mean? Gritty, get it out in the mud type prison ball. Do you know what I mean? They just bully everyone, physically dominate whoever they play. Cade obviously plays at a superstar level. I saw Thompson disrupts everything with his steals, blocks, just all-round playmaker on that side of the ball. And Tobias Harris turns into prime MJ as he's still playing at this current stage of his career.
The Detroit Pistons cannot win the championship because
they just don't have enough shooting. You know what I mean? They obviously have great defense, but their shooting is up and down. Their offense leaves a lot to be desired. They put a lot on Cade's shoulders, who's obviously come back from injury. It just won't be enough to win the championship.
The Cleveland Cavaliers can win the championship because
James Harden takes it back to 2018 Harden. The step back's there, and it actually doesn't fade as the series goes along. I mean, he actually keeps it. Donovan Mitchell turns to prime D Wade in 06, and he turns into the Flash. Can't stop him. The double bigs and Mobley and Allen turn to mini Shaqs, and the 3-point shooting that they have, they just see nothing but the bottom of the rim, and they just you just can't stop that.
That's a lot of perfect basketball, by the way. That needs to be played, but regardless, the Cleveland Cavaliers cannot win the championship because
Harden's too old. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm saying, that 3-point shot, it fades as the series goes along. Donovan Mitchell still has not yet seen the conference finals. Why would I believe that he's going to get there this time around? Jarrett Allen came out saying the lights are too bright when I was playing the playoffs. That might actually happen the further he goes into the postseason, and their 3-point shooting just tails off. And they just can't use that finesse to win.
Last couple, matey. The Philadelphia 76ers can win the championship because
they inject Embiid with something that is just so illegal that he can't even get in America, but somehow they get him to Embiid. Do you know what I mean? He plays like his MVP season. Maxey just across the court. You know, you can't catch him. VJ playing like a mini Anthony Edwards. You know what I mean? I rate him highly. PG turns it back to 2019 MVP PG. And Andre Drummond's just collecting all the rebounds. Just a perfect, well-rounded team. Got healthy at the right time to make that push and finally get a championship back to Philly.
The 76ers cannot win the championship because
Embiid literally has no cartilage in his knee. He's literally limping around the court. You know what I mean? Obviously, you've got a rookie in VJ. Just too much to ask for him. Maxey probably will be their best player in most of these series. Paul George kind of blows a bit hot and cold. They just won't have enough. And if Embiid is your number one option and he don't have a cartilage in his knee, I'm sorry. The second round is probably the best they can go.
The New York Knicks can win the NBA championship because
Anthony Townsend Brunson all of a sudden turns to prime Shaq and Kobe. You know what I mean? All of a sudden they play making through Cat. You know what I mean? They're running rings around him and then he's just diming up everyone. He's turning to Jokic at this point. And like I'm saying, Brunson, most of the time, he's more often than not going to be the best player on the court or in the series. Do you know what I mean? Clutch player of the year as well. Finally, them two bring the glory days back to the Knicks, back to New York. You know what I mean? So we'll see how that happens.
Go New York, go! No, it's not time yet.
That's what I'm saying.
The New York Knicks cannot win the championship because
Cat's too slow-footed, Brunson's too slow-footed. Mikal, what's his name?
Bridges.
Shout out Mikal Arteta, by the way. Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges sometimes he give you 2 points, sometimes he give you 20. You never know what you get from him. OG is very consistent. But they just won't have enough. Like there's weak points in their defense in the two superstar players in Cat and Brunson. That's just a recipe for disaster when you're trying to really get to the top of the mountain.
It's the end of the game. I think you done well there, matey. I did. I think you done well.
Yeah.
It's a lot of debate there, but you lapped it all up. Very good.
Had to think of my feet there.
Very good, matey. Very good. So what we do on Stateside Report UK, hot takes, quick takes, any sort of takes. Right. We've got it. Piping cold takes, piping hot takes as well. They're here for you.
We'll do them all.
Oh, yes. Like, share, comment, rate, subscribe if you love what you're listening to right now on the Stateside Report UK episode 84. that Anthony Brown, the AB episode. I keep getting reels of him, by the way. Yeah, I got my sauce in my cup. I don't know if you've seen them.
We got the Ocho Cinco episode tomorrow. Next week.
Yeah. Next week, yeah. Trust me. Look at that. It's great, man. It's great. Shout out to the NFL. Bring it back. Come on, man.
I was thinking about that one day, actually.
Yeah, just had a draft as of recently. My Jags weren't in the first round, of course, so I wasn't really too hyped up for any of our draft picks, but we'll see. Might be decent for us next year. Might be good, matey. Packers, stinky.
Just get us back to the playoffs, man. You know what I mean? Get J-Love. Get J-Love some receivers, man. Michael Parsons, what's your knee saying?
Matey. Wisconsin's in the East, if I'm not mistaken, so how about we go there, you know? First round, by the way, yeah. We were eating still. What, 3 Game 7s?
Yeah, those 3 Game 7s over there.
Yeah, you were eating. And to be fair, do you know what? I do want to start with Philly. I do. Just because, look, I'm going to raise my hands up. I was very dismissive of them. I was, every time it came time to talk Celtics, Philadelphia 76ers, automatically in my brain, I'm like, Boston don't lose in the first round, and Boston don't really lose in the first round to the Philadelphia 76ers. So I'm like, let me just chalk this up. And most importantly, by the way, they were 3-1 up. So I'm surely thinking, yeah, Philly, this is just another song and dance. Go again next year. See where Embiid is at. Go from there. However, Embiid, I'm watching him right now on NBA TV with the glasses. He had the headphones as well, the LeBron joints. I said, yeah, cool, no problem. He had something. And to be fair, Game 6 and Game 7, I put my hands up because, as I said, I dismissed the 76ers way too quickly. Did I think Embiid was going to be as healthy, as he was, and was he going to play a central part in actually putting the ball in the basket? I didn't. I didn't think that was going to be the case. I didn't think he was just going to be readily available like that. However, he was. He put the ball in the basket. The Celtics had no answer for him. Fair enough. I was wrong about the Sixers. Stateside, I don't know about you, but I dismissed them too quickly.
To be fair, after the first game, where Philly won in Boston, I'm like, oh, I don't know about the Celtics, man. Do you know what I mean? Especially after the meltdown they had against the Knicks last year. And I kept banging on that door, saying there are major question marks on the Boston Celtics from the two 20-point flameouts that they gave up against the New York Knicks last year. Ended up losing the series in, I want to say, 6. They've come to the season, albeit obviously Tatum's come back very late. I mean, it's supposed to be their gap year. They're ramping them up late, going into the postseason. I heard all of that, but I'm saying, if you're Boston, you disappointed me last season in terms of the expectations I had from you. You've lost a lot of players. You've brought some players in from the bench. You've traded for players. And now you've started another postseason run. You've lost your first game at home to the Sixers without Embiid, by the way. Embiid did not play. So all of a sudden, alarm bells started ringing. And I watched every dribble of the series. I just didn't think Boston went up to it. Do you know what I mean? I loved the attitude the Sixers went into it. But then when it went 3-1, obviously Tatum started to get his bearings. Brown was imposing his will into the series. I'm like, another year. Maybe that Embiid quote was right, where it's like, why do you always call this a rivalry? They always kick out behind or whatever. Do you know what I mean? But then Embiid comes back. You can see he's just massive. He was just taking up space that Boston just didn't know how to maneuver through. You know what I mean? And then they just kept chipping away. 3 games Boston lost at home. Do you know what I mean? They lost a 3-1 lead. Lost Game 7. Obviously, Tatum had that knee problem, so couldn't play in the Game 7. They lost in Game 7, and Jaylen Brown's out here on Twitch talking about the league's flopping. It's a problem, this and the other.
Well, talk to me about that, by the way, because he was, like you said,
up 3-1.
You're right.
It wasn't a problem when he was up 3-1.
No, you're right, because he called him out, and he said Embiid is a flopper, and he knows that, That just sounds like a little bit of, salt to me.
Salty, bro. Salty. Because that's what Brown was doing. He was trying to grift. Instead of actually driving to the hole, he was trying to, like, bait Maxi and VJ and, like, trying to get N1s and stuff and, like, bro, play basketball properly. I remember when a couple of months ago, I think like a month or 2 ago, we played Boston, and he was talking about how Shea flops, how he's a foul baiter, this and that other. I want to say the next game or a couple games after that, he had 20 free throws. Jaylen Brown had 20 free throws in normal regulation. I'm like, oh, so now you're doing it now. Do you know what I mean? Now you're doing it, and I think he just got caught up in it. I was like, don't stoop down to my MVP's level. This is not you. Be yourself. Do you know what I mean? Do what you do best. Do you know what I mean? This is Shay's stick. Do you know what I mean?
You're saying what, the free throw line is exclusively for him, yeah?
Exclusive, bro. That's his thing. VIP. Do you know what I mean? That's not you. You ain't got table here, mate. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those. I think he kind of, although he scaled up his game very well. Do you know what I mean? Obviously very inefficient, but production all the while was good for Boston. But Jaylen Brown just isn't a number one option on a title contending team. He's not. I mean, Jason Tatum came back and actually looked better than Brown.
Well, you mentioned Jason Tatum there, and in my opinion, they did the right thing in regards to sitting him out for Game 7 because
100%.
they said, calf issue, you just bust your Achilles not that long ago. Yeah, come take a seat. It's okay. We don't need you that badly, you know. Right, that's the right decision that they made, and that should be, you know, applauded. Just because we've seen teams in the past, or what, you're about good to go? Yeah, no problem, and you go, and then it ends up being the wrong decision down the line. So credit where credit is due there, because there's a lot of franchises that would mismanage that situation.
But then again, obviously, there's a difference between a Game 7 in the first round or a Game 7 in the NBA Finals. You know what I mean?
I've seen it in the first round before, matey.
But you see with Halliburton, 10 times out of 10, I think he still plays that game.
Oh, you have to. Game 7 of the finals.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. First round is easy to make that call. But in NBA Finals, there's no way. You risk it. Why not? I mean,
yeah,
I'll die on the call if I have to. So
yeah.
You
lot will revive me, right? You know.
That's what I'm saying. But we've got to talk about quickly Joe Mazzulla, someone that obviously a lot of people rate highly, which I do as well. But again, question marks not only on Boston, but Joe Mazzulla last year up 20 twice at home, gave up both games to New York. This season as well, you've given up a 3-1 lead. You know what I mean, in Game 7, you're playing Shireman and Harper and Luka Garza with Jaylen Brown and whoever, and Derek White. Like, what's this starting five? I know Tatum isn't there, but why have you just galaxy brained the whole thing? I think Philly went up like 9-0 and then like 11-4. At that point, you've got these role players now. Now they when they get wide open threes or wide open shots, they're forced to like make it. But if you actually just go with the normal lineup without Tatum, you just play your normal rotation. You just overthink it. Like I'm saying, these question marks, I will always see it and I'll always bring it up because Mazzulla's been held at such a high standard. Remember when you done the whole coaching game thing, I think last week or week before that? And I kept saying, I'm still taking Steve Kerr over Mazzulla.
There's people in the comments that said you was bugging as well.
The comments, what do you always say? The comment sections are never wrong. And what do I always say to that? They're always wrong. You know what I mean?
Kick rocks.
I'm saying they can kick rocks, bro. The comment section is always wrong. I'm right. You know what I mean? But hey, like I say, when I say I've watched a lot of basketball and I know a thing or two, some people, you know, they think it's just all laughs and jokes. But I've watched a ton of basketball games. I don't know everything, but I know a thing or two. You know what I mean? And it's like Mazzulla, you have a lot to answer for next season because, like I said, that's 2 years in a row. First of all, you've given up 2 games at home to the Knicks and end up losing, obviously, Tatum injury tax. You've given up a 3-1 lead. You've lost 3 games at home. It was very difficult to lose games at the TD Garden, bro. They lost 3 games in the first round to the 76ers, bro. Half the time Embiid wasn't there. I've said enough.
Well, I will say this, you know, like you said it a little bit as well, like, you know, this was supposed to be a quote-unquote gap year in regards to the championship window from the start of the season. In regards to, obviously, we had questions for John Mazzulla to see whether he was a top coach, whether he can still guide this team to, you know, somewhat success. And I felt like in the regular season, definitely he did that. And in the playoffs, obviously, they look good in moments. However, by the end of it, you blew a 3-1 lead. So, you know, the gap year, unfortunately, has a stain on it a little bit just because you were probably supposed to go through to the, you know, to the second round. But you couldn't get it done. And, you know, that's the ultimate question at the end of the day. That's the ultimate question in sports. Did you win or did you not? You know, did you get it done or did you didn't? So, like you said, questions are going to be asked of, you know, Mazzulla in regards to why he made certain decisions, why he made certain lineup calls, how the team could have played a little bit different with Tatum in the lineup as well. look, these are all questions that are going to have to be answered in the summertime, and I'd like to think there'll be a little bit change in the Celtics, team, just because they have to take into account now. They have to monitor the health of Jason Tatum moving forward. They have to make sure. Yep, they have to make sure they're not exerting Brown a little bit too much now as well, because this is the first time now that he's going to have to, carry the load. It seems like, I don't know about moving forwards, because obviously it depends on the health of Jason Tatum, but you don't want to overwork Brown just because, he's always there and he's always available and he always wants to play. They're going to have to balance out their system a little bit. And it's already... They share enough the ball in regards to shooting up threes and putting up shots, but they're going to have to really think about it now. Schematically, it's no longer just a case of Brown's going to do his thing and everybody else is going to shoot a bunch of threes. They're going to have to be a little bit smarter now, because it's quite easy to figure the Celtics out these days. I feel
it might be a blessing in disguise for them obviously getting knocked out. Obviously, they would rather go deep in the playoffs and ultimately win the whole thing. But losing the first round, it just gives Tatum or buys Tatum a lot of time in the off season.
Yeah.
To try and get his body right, where he feels like he can get to like 80, 85%, maybe 90. Do you know what I mean? Where his cardio, physique, leg, everything is up to a level where he can trust it. Because I feel like certain times this season he was favouring that left leg a lot. Do you know what I mean? You didn't really see the best of Tatum. Also, the formula in Celtics, in Boston as well, living and dying by that 3-point shot. That's exactly how they lost the series, because they had wide open threes and they just kept missing and missing and missing. So I'm asking, where's the plan B?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So Mazzulla's going to have to look into that, not only with his tactic, but his personnel. You know what I mean? I'm hearing talks that maybe they might have to do like some sort of trade, like get Derek White over to the Nuggets and get for what's his name?
Jamal Murray?
The bigger guy, Gordon.
Oh.
They just need more size. I mean, they need more size of the forward position. But we'll see how aggressive they can be, because there's always going to be that window in the East anyway. Because, bro, the 8th seed has taken the number 1 seed, Detroit Pistons, to Game 7. Detroit are still another team that are very unconvincing, even though they won 60 games. The Cavs won 60 games last year, very unconvincing. The Pacers are going to be back in the mix next season. So, but there's still that window of opportunity in the East. So we'll see how aggressive Boston are going to be in the trades and off season and stuff, and bringing in players to try and go again, because all is not lost, but all can be lost quickly. You know what I mean? You can fall behind the 8 ball very quick, because the NBA goes by
very fast indeed. You even forgot about the huge Giannis domino, because we're expecting him to be moved this off season as well.
He won't stay in Wisconsin.
Nah, I don't think so. I think it's done over there. But the Celtics have I don't know about crossroads. Let's not say that, but just because, like we spoke about them last episode and being well run, usually seeing quite far well into the future and planning successfully ahead of time as well. So I'd like to think they're gonna get right, and they're gonna make moves that make sense and make perfect roster magic into construction. But we'll see, as we always say on Stateside Report UK. Just go to the other series now. In the first round, by the way, 2 Game 7s apiece for both these teams to even get here. So, we could start with the 1 seed, the potential fake 1 seed. The questions are still up in the air now. I'm still not hearing that they found a way out of the grass. The Pistons toppled the Magic. I watched that game. As well, just because it was at a very decent time. I had no excuse not to watch that one. It definitely was prison style, as it has been the whole series. However, listen, we don't give flowers enough, I feel like, as a basketball community, and I'm gonna do this now. And it's kind of, patting myself on the back, because if you know a little bit of basketball, then I know a little bit about basketball. And last summer I said, Cade Cunningham, top 5 point guard, argue with the wall. I was so confident in my esteemed, assertions about Cade and the talent that's there. And look what he done, bruv. Look what he done. Carried them, No shooting, all defense, no mid-range, no free throws. He had Tobias Harris, to be fair. Tobias Harris came out to play. However, they needed the leader to step up. And Cade Cunningham, in the biggest moments, he did that every single time. Off the pick and roll, little bit of space, 3-point shot, bang. Mid-range, bang. Making passes, but no problem. He looked like the best player on the court throughout the whole series. And, surprise, surprise, that normally will get you through, most playoff series. And in this case, Stateside Umph, I think we have to give the man his flowers, because even though the Pistons do have their problems, and they'll have their problems in this series versus the Cavs, they've got Cade Cunningham, so they've got a chance. So fair play to him for stepping up.
100%, bro. So they also went down 3-1. Do you know what I mean? I think they lost the first game at home, and then there was the talks of the last time the Pistons won a home game was in 2008. You're like, whoa. I mean, obviously, because they played the Knicks last year, and they lost every home game. I mean, they end up losing in 6, so it's like, when is Detroit ever going to win a playoff game at home? I mean, obviously, then they went down 3-1, and then Paolo dropped 45 in Game 5 to try and close them out.
Paolo was great, by the way.
Cade matches that with 45 of his own as well. Do you know what I mean? And then from then on, I think Cade averaged like 33 points the rest of the way. You know what I mean? He balled out. Paolo was then, blowing hot and cold with his performances, but Cade just kept that level. You know what I mean? This not only just Paolo, but Cade as well. I think once everything just rounds off perfectly, he's going to be an insane basketball player. Obviously, the Detroit front office have to look to see, can we get more offense around him? I know they've got a lot of defenders. I saw Thompson was ridiculous that series, but he was causing havoc, and that's an understatement, bro. He was causing havoc. Almost 3 blocks and 3 steals for the series. It's just obviously offensively, he is very limited, very very limited. But with Cade, when Detroit needed him, he was there. When they called him, he answered every single time. I mean, whether it's 3-point shooting, mid-range shooting, attacking the rim, every time he gets the ball, he attacked quickly before the defense set. He showed a level of maturity, especially when they were down 24 in Game 6 in Orlando, and they just chipped away. Bro, Orlando scored 19 points in a second half game at home. That was the last home game in Orlando. They were up 24 and scored 19 in the second half. Bro, you wouldn't even see the stuff in the 90s, bro. It was like, 8 points in the third quarter, 11, and bro, what do you mean 8 points in the third quarter and 11 in the fourth?
Disgraceful. I think, if I'm not mistaken, by like maybe 3rd or 4th minute mark in the third quarter, that was the last basket they made until maybe 1 or 2 down the stretch of the fourth quarter. Like, it was chipping paint off the rims type stuff.
I think they missed like 23 field goals straight.
Can't be doing that.
Kind of reminded me of like Houston when they missed like 27 3-pointers.
Yeah, exactly.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's just, I mean, the Magic are a completely different story. A mess. Obviously, Jamal Mosley got fired before they literally got on the plane back to Orlando.
Which we said, by the way, that, a poor playoff series for the Magic. Yeah, Jamal's probably gone.
It was the context, though. Do you know what I mean? Because he was going to be fired, and then he blew out the Hornets. Got to the first one, was up 3-1. They're like, okay, he's going to keep his job. And then you're giving me 19 points in the second half in a closeout game at home. And then you lose on the road. It's like, you're done for. You're out of here.
I will say, he's not solely to blame, because, he was there for 4 years, 5 years, and he did a great job in regards to developing a lot of their guys, right. Paolo, Franz, Anthony Black, who, you've come to like as time has gone on, Kane, who came along very nicely, in this series as well. Yes, he's doing very well. Suggs as well had, slow start to his career, but
he had a horrid series.
Yeah, he was a bit smelly, to be fair. But as a whole,
30-something from 3.
He's developed quite nicely into a solid player for them. Jamal Mosley has been instrumental in regards to their development and actually establishing, I won't say a winning culture, but showing them that, look, lads, look what we can do when we buckle down and we play to our strengths. We can make the playoffs and we can make some noise. We can push teams to Game 7s. We can be up 3-1. We can do this, do that. And yes, it was probably time to go, just because they need something new. They need, a different voice. They need different, offensive schemes. They need to tighten up Paolo in regards to making him, choose what he wants to do offensively instead of him doing a bit of everything and not being good at really anything. But the front office need to, have some responsibility in regards to the roster construction. They've been the worst 3-point shooting team, or one of the worst 3-point shooting teams for the past 2 or 3 years. What do you want Jamal Mosley to do? He's not going to just go to the G League or go to anywhere and pluck, shooters, from the back of his ass. So I'm just saying that, yes, it was probably time for him to go. However, front office going into next season, I've got tabs. Just because we need to bring some shooting immediately to this team, because he's been screaming for it for the last 3 years, and they've done quite frankly, a poor job of surrounding, their star players with adequate people that can shoot the basketball. It's going to be more series like this, by the way, in regards to, prison style, 90s style hoops. The Magic will be involved in more series if they don't get more shooting into this team.
I mean, I always feel like, and I think I said this last week or week before that the personnel is what makes the team. It's kind of what makes the coach, because as a coach you need the right ingredients to cook up what you're trying to make. Do you know what I mean? If you've got players that just can't shoot, that can't really play make off the dribble, if you've got a lot of play finishers, but and you're trying to play a certain style of basketball, it's hard to do that. Desmond Bane, you gave a 4 or 5 first round picks for him. Every time I watch him play, I'm like, how does it work? How does it work?
He gets them off, though. He's the only one on that roster who really gets them off.
Thompson was clamping that, bro. Asante Thompson didn't want to hear none of that BS, bro. Bro, he was... Nah, man. Bro, Desmond Bane could not get anything off against Asante.
Hey, man, Desi Bane had a lot on his plate, man. He said, damn, I'm the one who can shoot for real. Damn,
bro,
all right.
Every time I watch him, I'm like, how does it work? Like, I was so small, so stocky, bro. Just walking around looking like a thumb. But you give up a lot for Desmond Bane, but he doesn't really create advantages like that. He's more of like a play finisher, like spacing out the floor. I mean, like I said, when he's putting the ball on the floor, they've got Asante Thompson. He's digging at the dribble. It's just, I don't know if it was the right move. Obviously, at the time, a lot of people was like, "Oh, that's a great move for the Magic." They're actually, making a big swing. You do also have to talk about Franz Wagner's injury. Do you know what I mean? I feel like that really turned the series. That kind of opened the door slightly for Detroit to walk through, and they kicked the door down and walked through it, because they forced Paolo to be a scorer, or just the number one option and number one scorer. And when you don't have the option to defer to someone like a Franz Wagner that can put the ball on the floor, that can create advantages with his size, strength, and athleticism, and touch in and around the rim, you lose a lot, especially when you're a team that don't have much scoring to begin with.
Yeah, Magic have got some issues to sort out going into this offseason, and it'll be interesting to see how they fix those. Pistons Cavs, by the way, I'm very interested to see how this series goes. We didn't really even speak about the Game 7 between the Cavs and the Raptors. I will say Cavs made this a lot harder than it needed to be, just because, look, I understand that the Raptors were no slouches per se, but I think they'll be disappointed that they, expended all this energy and had to go to a Game 7 to topple a Raptors team that, in theory and on paper is, in my opinion at least, just not better than the Cavs.
I mean, the Raptors are a very great team defensively. If you want to do like a top 5 best players of that historic round one, Scotty Barnes has to be there. Do you know what I mean? Because Emmanuel Quickley was injured, didn't play. Brandon Ingram
missed time.
He missed time, but bro, when he was there, bro, he might as well have missed the whole time. I mean, he was BSing out there, bro. Jesus Christ. So it's like Scotty Barnes had to do a lot: playmaking, scoring, defending, all 5 positions. You know what I mean? He was Mr. Do It All. So he played at an extremely high level.
RJ, give him his credit now.
Starting coming, RJ, the shot that he hit in Game 6 when it hit the rim and then dropped in reminded me of obviously Kawhi. Remember, I watched that shot. I'm like, there's no way that's just gone in. But luck of the rim. Do you know what I mean? You have to give the Raptors credit. You have to give the Raptors credit. And I feel like with the Cavs, they did enough. Obviously, that's why you have home court. They did enough. Every series is different. Obviously, this going to be like question marks on like Harden and Mitchell and stuff like that. But it's what you do in the second round, third round. You know what I mean? Can you win? Can you go to the conference finals? People forget about the first round. You know what I mean? And how they struggled. I feel like if you struggle, as long as you get the job done, you get the job done. It is what it is. You know what I mean? OKC was getting pelters of saying, "Oh, you how can you take an injured Nuggets to 7 games and this and other?" We still end up winning the series. That's the main objective for every team. Can you win the series in 7? It's a yes or no. There's no maybes. There's no if buts. Maybe, you know what I mean? So you got to give the Cavs credit. They did enough. Jarrett Allen looked like Shaq in Game 7. He was collecting all the rebounds, scoring all the points, blocking all the shots. So you got to give him credit there as well. But like I'm saying, I want to see Detroit and their physicality. For once, they're actually now going to have a team that I feel like they can impose their physical will on. And the Cavs will struggle with that, but then the Cavs have better scoring and better offense than the Magic do. So
It'll be a good series. Yeah, it's a real difference in regards to styles. One is a little bit leans a little bit more towards finesse, and the other one is obviously just physicality.
Get out of mud.
I was gonna say, we'll round it off just because I wish we could talk about basketball all night, but boys got work. You know what I mean? Got to do what you got to do. The double bigs in regards to Mobley, Allen, especially how you saw what they were doing in Game 7, a little bit in Game 6 as well. Do you think that is going to be an issue for Detroit? Just because, look, Jaylen Brown, call it like it was, he stank for the first round. You know, his teammates definitely carried him. He was definitely a passenger coming into the second round, so he has to step up his play. However, he can't be both the assignment for Mobley and Jarrett Allen as well. You like to think that Tobias obviously can put up his own, but there's an obvious mismatch over there in regards to whatever Mobley can do if he puts his mind to it. If he's put it on Jarrett Allen, then you just told me he's moving like Shaq. He was moving like Shaq in the last round. So I don't know if that's a good matchup putting Tobias on Jarrett Allen. Do you think that's going to be an issue for the Pistons, or do you think they're good enough defense that they can scheme around that?
I mean, first of all, what's his name? Jaylen Brown. The lesson that he got taught in round 1 is a necessary lesson all young players have to learn. Do you know what I mean? And also, that's why every series is different, because now the Pistons can look to explore the option of playing Duran and Beef Stew, or Duran and Paul Reed. I mean, they've got the personnel there, so we'll see if they do struggle, if they're being strained with that double big lineup. They have players on the bench that they can make a few tweaks and few lineup changes, whether it's starting with them, coming off the bench. Either way, I think they can answer to that. But Mobley will have to hit shots. Allen obviously will still have to impose his will physically. But I think in terms of the physicality in the front line, I'll give that edge to the Detroit Pistons.
Fair enough. I'm excited for the second round, so we're going to see how all the series play out. It's going to be very interesting to see who gets through to the conference finals. Can Embiid get in there? Is New York going to be bouncing?
It's a high level playoff this year, bro.
It's a high level field indeed. However, before we get into our last game, our last junction, Stateside, let me take you through some of the headlines that's doing the NBA rant at the moment. The Dallas Mavericks have hired Masai Ujiri as team president. Be honest, I thought he was off the market just because I saw he was involved in a WNBA franchise. I thought that's going to be taking, a lot of his time in Toronto. However, he said, hey, don't worry, I signed a contract there. Let me sign a contract here as well in Dallas. Let me make the moolas. And, I posted a video on the Stateside, platform saying that they have to be very careful and they have to move, as one moving into the future. They can't have, one voice saying, oh, I wish we still had Luka, and another voice saying, oh, we need to move forward with Coop. Everybody needs to be on the same level playing field and singing off the same hymn sheet. Well, I'd like to think that Masai is a perfect person in regards to setting the direction and setting the tone in Dallas because, hey, look what he did in Toronto. He did magic.
I mean, Dallas fans probably would have said, Masai wouldn't have, so he wouldn't have traded Luka, man. This is a year and a half too late, Masai. Where you been? Where you been? But like I'm saying, they got Cooper Flag. Some way, somehow, they got Cooper Flag. They got a Rookie of the Year. They got a promising future, if with how everything's set up right now. So, you've got a good GM. He's tried and tested. He's been a GM for a team that's won the championship. So, there's been nothing but good news from Masai. He's a good businessman as well. He more often than not makes great decisions. So if you're Dallas, from what you've experienced before, it can't get any worse than this, surely.
It can. I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself.
I'm saying it can't get any worse. I mean, it can, but surely we hope not. But yeah, having Masai as your GM or president of basketball operations, that's great news.
The Detroit Pistons and coach JB Bigstaff have agreed to a contract extension. That's good for Coach JB, I never thought his head was on the line in any regard. However, getting through to the second round helps. Getting the number 1 seed helps. And obviously he was part of the people that have made, a winning culture in Detroit. So, yeah, fair enough. This makes sense to me.
He's come back and set the culture in Detroit. Like I always banging on about, it's hard to set cultures in franchises. Obviously, Detroit basketball is something that's lived on for decades, and he came in and really enforced that again. And you can see that the players take to him very kindly. Do you know what I mean? And he backs his team in the presses, whether they're in the wrong or in the right. Do you know what I mean? Whether they get into fights and this and other, like he embodies Piston culture. So I'm not surprised that they've extended his contract.
Like Coach JB, he's been a good coach for a long time. I remember him at Houston very early. I remember him at the Cavs as well when they were rebuilding, and now he's got a good chance in Detroit to actually find a home. I think that's what everybody wants. Someone they could lay their head at night, put their hat on the coat rack, and carry on. And last one, we mentioned this a little bit earlier as well, but this is what reports say, not me. Kevin Durant's burner saga reportedly didn't bother the Rockets players despite the distraction reports. Do you buy that, Stateside? For me personally, not for 1 second. But you go ahead.
I don't buy it as well, man. Bro, watching KD try and laugh and joke around with the players on the bench, it's like they have to like force a laugh or something. Like, bro, team chemistry on 0.
0, bro. Minus 100 after the leaks came out, bro.
What? And the players knowing that what KD said is so true.
Jabari like, damn, I really can't make nothing.
It's like, wow, he really sees through me, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But hey, I'm saying that whole thing was a mess. Do you know what I mean? Especially straight after All-Star break, where your team's looking to ramp up the team chemistry and ramp up your play, knowing that you're going to the postseason and then showing up what you showed up in the postseason as well. Something has to change. You know what I mean? KD got to put his phone on and start a family, man. I mean, genuinely, I mean that. That's my goal. But Jesus Christ, bro, let go of the phone. You know what I mean?
Man. I don't know. It's been a crutch of his for a long time.
It's been a big fat mess.
They're also a younger team, to be fair. So like, you like to think they're on social media, they see all the jokes, everybody's running game on them, and they're like, "Damn, KD, look what you've done. Look what you've done to
KD
me."
would like be a leader. Obviously, that's not to say that it's not really in his nature, but it's just not his style of leadership. He always says he wants to lead by example, but there's just certain teams you have to go there and like just really put your imprint.
I think it's a fair criticism
on and off the court.
It's a fair criticism of somebody of his, stature. You've been in the league so long and you're looked at in such high regard. You have the experience that you have, that you can't lead the group of guys to, a common goal. It's poor. It's very poor.
It is poor. It's piss poor.
Not my goal. Not my guy. So, okay. You know what I mean?
All I'm saying is get some Shea Hoops back on my screen immediately. I'm sick and tired of watching these cats trying to pretend that they're good at what they do, man. I want to see the highest level of basketball, man.
Anyways.
Arsenal, please don't make a fool out of me.
I need it.
Please.
I need it. Before we get up and get out of here, Stateside Town, shall we play one more game?
Let's play one more game. Let's do it.
Stateside Town, I want to overreact now. I want to do some overreactions. That's what I want to do, Don't make me activate. Shout out to Pats on TikTok. But that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to cause activations with some overreactions. Are you ready? Can you do it for me? Can you do it for the people, Stateside?
Let's do it.
Here we go. First one. Jaylen Brown will struggle even more with Mobley and Allen. Is this an overreaction?
It's an overreaction because they're more for like a slender build. I mean, Jaylen Brown is built like a brick shit house. Do you know what I mean? He looks like he eats dumbbells for breakfast. So I don't think he's gonna struggle with that. If anything, probably Mobley stretching out the floor, but bro, no one's checking Mobley at the 3-point line. So I think he'll be fine. So overreaction.
The San Antonio Spurs sweep the Minnesota Timberwolves. Is an overreaction.
I'd say it's an overreaction. The fact that Ant should be back for game 1 as well. I think the Timberwolves will get a couple games. Like I said, San Antonio in 6 anyway, but San Antonio sweeping the Timberwolves, overreaction.
Joel Embiid will finally reach the Eastern Conference Finals. Is this an overreaction? He's thinking.
This series is close though. But then again, I said the Hawks series is gonna be close, and they lost by like 1,000 points. So I don't know how long Embiid is gonna hold up. But you know what? Yeah, man. Embiid is gonna get to the conference finals. So no reaction on this one.
All I'm saying is that healthy Embiid, what? Cat's guarding him. Yeah, man. Long day.
They already hate each other anyway.
Yeah, as well. As well. So let's see, man.
We'll see what that's saying.
Yeah. Scotty Barnes is a top 10 player in the NBA. Is this no reaction?
No reaction. From what I've seen, from what he showed me in the round one, chuck him in there, man. I might have him just 10th, but just chuck him in there. No reaction. Shout out Scotty, man.
There's a lot of people that love Scotty Barnes. I've seen.
He's great. He's great.
He is a good player. I've been singing his praises for a while. There's people that have been saying, chuck him in the Giannis trade or whatever. I'm like, listen, untouchable, brother. Can't have him. Sorry. Either one of Franz or Paolo will get traded for next season. Is this an overreaction?
Something has to change in Orlando. I don't think they'll let him. I don't think they'll let either of them go. It's just more so the others. Do you know what I mean? What can you get to complement what you've got in Paolo and Franz? So I'll say it's an overreaction. I think that Orlando will keep both, especially the fact that they've let go of the coach anyway. They're not going to take that big of a swing to try and change too much too soon.
Last one, matey. Asar Thompson is the best defender in the NBA, not named Victor Wembanyama. Is this an overreaction?
This has been a topic of conversation on my TikToks and just TikTok in general. He's up there. He's up there. Overreaction though, man. We got cats like J-Dub and Caruso and Dort and these championship defenders. I mean, all I've seen is round one tapes from Asar, bro. I want to see some championship tapes before I start putting them in certain conversations. You know what I mean? I watch championship level defenders on a night in, night out basis. You don't want to talk about Asar Thompson. I mean, he's great. He's a good kid. But I've only seen round one tapes. I mean, show me some championship tapes. So I'm like, so you can hang in the biggest moments. Anyone can do in the round one. You know what I mean? But like I said, great kid, promising future. We'll see what the future holds for him. But we're overreacting a little bit here. Let's calm it.
I don't think we are, personally, to be fair. If we were talking about strictly defenders, hey man, I saw some stats that he held like multiple people to under 45% shooting. Some people sub 35% shooting. I'm just saying that.
Oh, sounds ridiculous. That's what I was saying.
He's nuts. His brother not too bad as well, not too shabby.
He's alright. They both get killed by straight though, but they're alright.
Got to get in the gym in terms of the jump shot, definitely, but in terms of defense,
yeah,
they've got it. They've got
100.
Yeah, man. Stateside on for another episode in the books.
Another one checked off the list, man. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, business end of the season for everyone. So,
my team, Champions League.
We'll see how's the ball. I slept before that game. I slept during that game. I didn't even know that game was on. I woke up and it was like full time. I was like, what? I missed the whole game.
Mr. Heroics, my boy.
Hey,
some people they sign the contract and they go on the beach. They think they made it. Not my boy. Not my guy.
Yeah, man, bro. I'm like I said. Some said hire him and fire him again, just for what he done to Kobe. But hey, like, share, subscribe. You know what I mean? It's playoff time. You know what I mean? So we're here.
Yeah, man. We're here, man. Like,
we say the same time next week.
Subscribe, all that jazzy stuff. I'll be here next week. Stateside will be back next week. Hopefully with someone special as well. But until then, take it easy, boys.
It looks like we both need a haircut as well, by the way.
Yeah, bleeding. You're more than mine though, because you got braids in your thing. Yeah,
it's a mess.
Matey.
2 months, 2.5 months. No
mine's bad month still. Actually, we'll get it sorted, mate. We'll get it sorted.
My barber. It's like, I'm trying to come in today or tomorrow. He's like, I'm in Ghana for a month.
Bro, the next time you see your barber is gonna be Ian Wright. Have you seen? Bro, I thought you were dead. What, you were done?
I'm saying, man. I tried to do a last minute thing, backfired quickly.
Yeah, pain.
We'll take it on the trip, man. We'll keep plodding.
Yeah, it is what it is. Don't worry. We'll see you next week. Stay tuned to see if Stateside gets his trim. Stay tuned to see if I do as well. Take it easy, boys.
Find out next week on Stateside Report.